I took the V-12 test in high school in 1944 and was selected to go into the Navy V-12 program. It was an officer college program. I was essentially in the program as an apprentice seaman, and I entered that in July 1, 1944, and at the end of the war I came out in July of 1946. I took the test at my father's advice. I wanted to go in the Air Corps. And he said, wisdom is the better part. Why don't you see if you can qualify for an officer candidate program? The Korean War erupted in 1950. And I was in a reserved deferred status until my senior year in law school. The first month I got a draft board notice. So I went up to the Navy, who had given me the benefit of 3 years of college gratis, and I attempted to return to the Navy. And of course there are rules and restrictions with respect to individuals who have received their draft notice. The Marine Corps recruiter beckoned me over and he said, would you be interested in coming into the United States Marine Corps? And I said I was riding behind them for 2 years up at Dartmouth College, where there was a Marine unit, and if I couldn't beat them, I'd join them if they gave me the opportunity. 3 weeks later, I was in charge of a group of recruits in a train going from Chicago, Illinois to San Diego boot camp. I finished boot camp, and then I was assigned to fire control school back at Quantico, Virginia. I was selected for a screenee program, and I survived that and became a second lieutenant. And after finishing the basic school at Quantico and learning how to be an infantry officer, I was sent to the artillery school at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I went to Camp Pendleton and eventually arrived in Korea when it was petering down to an artilleryman's war, and I joined or was assigned to the 4th Battalion of the 11th Marines. And probably it being a medium artillery, which is 155 howitzers, the reason I was selected for that probably was because of my secondary legal spec number. And they had had some trouble with Marines going into neighboring commands with usual purposes, and they got into a firefight with the Turkish MPs, and there was a huge investigation about it. And me being legal and also being somewhat of a typist, I helped the other officers conducting the investigation on that. This was just minor. I was assigned to the Fire Direction Control Center and part of my duties, and I never got any sleep over there. The war ended in June. They were arguing about the shapes of the peace tables in Paris and other places, but I extended for a year after that and came out of the Marines in August of 1954. When I returned home in August, shortly thereafter, I went to the Reserve Center and they awarded me a letter of commendation with the Combat V.